Okay, guys, full confession. I got to see 3 episodes of Girls 5Eva. Gonna be famous 5 ever.
Forever too short.
Too
Stop it.
short.
It's so, first of all, it's so catchy. And truth be told, I was supposed to be on the set starting the Today Show at 7. I was in my dressing room. I was playing episode 2.
Yay!
Played episode 3. They said, come down. I gave it to Savannah in the commercial. I said, watch 5 minutes. You guys are the Ted Lasso for women. It is so funny. So first of all, I need to know, how did you four get chosen to be together? Because to me, this is sort of magic. Busy, why don't you start us off?
It was a contest at the mall, Hoda, and we all just showed up. No, I mean, I feel so grateful when Tina Fey called me. Sarah and Renee were already signed on to the project, and it was as if someone in the middle of the hardest year in all of our, oh my God, I'm going to cry. Am I crying? I'm about to cry. The hardest year in all of our lives. Someone called me Tina Fey, the best in the world, and offered me like my dream come true. Do you want to come and spend like the next 4 months working with the most incredible women and sing with the most talented singers and pretend that you were a pop star? And I was like, I like fell on the ground. So that's how I was lucky enough to join the cast. And when I read the script, I knew for sure. I was like, it has to be Paula Pell. If it's not Paula, I don't know who it is. And then we signed on for that table read, and I saw Paula, and I was like, yes.
Paula, you are a fan favorite. I mean, every time you come up on the screen, before you even open your mouth, I start laughing. I'm like, I'm not sure what's coming, but I got to get ready.
Gloria's the character always has that look. Like, it reminds me of my old grandpa Joey, who was Italian, that would always be like, you know what's wrong with this country? Everyone's got 2 cars. There's a lot of weight on her. She's got a lot of weight on her, but a lot of weight in her soul that she needs to unleash and unpeel in the series, which I love, because like the exhilaration of, you'll see later in the episodes that Gloria starts really letting it rip.
Oh, well, she lets it rip in the first few too.
That's true. She's not a shy flower in the first couple.
So Sarah and Renee, you guys were signed on first. So will you just tell me, how did the call come for you, Renee?
I got sent the pilot script, and I laughed so hard and cried a little bit, because I was like, I just kept spit taking. Because my question was, I don't understand the title of this show, in the email. And then 2 pages into the pilot, I was like, oh my God, like 2 pages in, it was just the funniest. My favorite thing ever in any kind of 90s, group movie is that group that didn't make it, like that group that had like this huge moment of fame that didn't make it. And sometimes they're just in the beginning of a movie. And the fact that it's an entire series about the thing that just makes me laugh more than anything in the world is just a gift from Meredith Scardino.
Yes.
And Tina Fey.
Sarah, your voice is bar none. I've loved you since the very beginning. The minute I heard Sarah sing, it was like a warm hand on your heart. So I knew music was obviously in your blood. What I didn't know was that you have that funny timing. You have that great comedic timing. So when you were stepping into this role, and this is a little unfamiliar to you, I mean, you hadn't really acted in a comedy before. How did you get your sea legs?
Working amongst the sea of this beautiful community of talented people. I mean, I think, in some ways I think so. My sister, Jenny, is a hilarious person. And I think that I have spent my entire life looking up to her and watching her and her comedic timing. And then this was like an opportunity to like practice, but being so held and so supported by these 3 women in particular, but also our creative team and the other cast members. It was a really extraordinary set to be on. I think partially because we were coming to this job amidst COVID. And so there was this undercurrent of just gratitude to get to work, to be able to go to work and to be with other people and to do something creative that was joyful. All of it felt like very present to me. So I think, you know, in the context of what last year felt like, it was like leap, you know, and hopefully the ground shall appear, because it was a big trust fall. I was very nervous to sign on, and I told Tina and Meredith, I'm like, I think you called the wrong person. I don't know what you think this is not what I do. But I had so much fun.
Did you guys make it through without busting up in every take?
Oh my
We
God.
did.
Yeah, I mean, that was hard.
We were at the very end of the shoot. We had, I mean, it was like the last hour where we were delirious. It was freezing cold outside. We were on our very last minute, and they handed us a sheet to just record something without camera, just for some like answering machine moment. And it was something that a line for Busy that was so ungodly funny, and they didn't warn us, and we were so loopy, and she just said the line, and it was that church cry where you can't come back from it, and it's like, oh, like everyone is about to kill us because we're about to wrap on this entire season, and we cannot get through it. We couldn't get through it. We just kept having to like recollect. So, and I grew up in church, like grown up Catholic with a lot of giggle fits, and oh my God, we couldn't stop crying. We couldn't stop laughing, cry laughing.
How many of you guys saw Renee in Hamilton?
Oh, numerous times.
So many times.
Okay, come on. So you knew that she was just like a perfect human being. So
Oh my God.
your role in this, Renee, is hilarious, because I didn't see it coming. I'm like, you play this kind of diva. You don't care. You're like, get back, Nats. You're like dusting everyone away from you. Was it fun to get into that character, which is so not your personality?
Oh my God, thank you for saying that, Oda. Yeah, you know, it was a stretch for me. You know what made it so easy? I'll just copy, you know, Sarah. It's those women and how brilliantly funny they are, but also it was the styling. What I'm most excited about this show is that style team, the hair, the makeup, those clothes from that time, or even their choices in present day, what they wear. I almost felt like, you know, don't judge my performance until they have put on this look. Because once I stepped into that 90s, that hair, those wigs, those clothes, once I stepped into that moment, I just felt like my Sasha Fierce came out.
Yeah.
And it was a joy.
We saw it too. It did come out.
It did. I mean, I was shocked. I was like, oh, get back. So, I'm sorry. But you guys, the singing is so on point. Y'all are joking the whole time. And the lyrics, by the way, they're such earworms. What's the lyric that is still an earworm for you guys?
Oh God.
Oh, Dream Girlfriends. Yeah.
How does that go?
Yeah.
It just Dream Girlfriends, because our dads are dead.
So you never have to meet them and get asked why you left school. Like,
I mean, it's my favorite. I sing
It's
it
so
sometimes
bad.
just like not even in jokes, doing the dishes. I'm just like, Dream Girlfriends. I mean, all the time I'm singing.
You know,
Dream
I worked for years with Jeff Richmond. I've known him for almost 20 years. And he, of course, you know, was a musical director at SNL. He wrote so many funny things at SNL. He's so talented. And then add Meredith Scardino, who's one of the funniest comedy writers on earth. And the two of them with the lyrics and music together are just, and of course he did Mean Girls the musical, but it's like on Broadway, but just like incredibly funny songs. And then of course our big song at the end of the season is written by the incredible Sarah Bareilles that made us open mouth bubble cry, like put a bubble out of our mouth crying when we first heard it. And we get to sing that. We get to sing what she wrote with these three. And it is like a pinch me every single day doing it.
I didn't know. I mean, I knew you wrote Waitress, obviously, and you ended up on Broadway on stage that night. And I remember that too. That was beautiful. I didn't know you wrote a song for this one too.
I did. Yeah. It was, you know, testament to deeply collaborative and sort of open-hearted nature of the writing team and the music, the whole music department, but Jeff in particular, who approached me kind of early in the season saying, you know, we have this song kind of towards the end. We know the concept a little bit, but are you interested in playing? And at that point, I was a little bit just like, I don't quite know what I'm doing. I'm just trying to remember my lines. And so I don't know if I can take it on. But as the season went on, and just madly fell in love with everyone on set, but these three in particular. And then it became really fun to think about, you know, what would we say if, you know, it's celebrating the idea of being perfectly imperfect. We're coming up 4 stars instead of 5 stars. So it's like that, the idea that they find a way to celebrate themselves in all of their flaws, in all of their imperfections. And then it was just a collaboration. I mean, it was Meredith's lyrical ideas that I sort of teased out in different directions, and Jeff was at the ready to kind of, you know, ping pong it back and forth. But it was so celebratory. I felt so proud.
I love the whole concept, because a lot of us right now, some are in our 40s, some of us are in our 50s. And I think you guys are in those categories.
Yes.
And you feel like there's something about reclaiming a little bit of something.
Yeah.
Don't you love, I just love the whole premise, Busy.
Yeah. I mean, well, for me, that was also part of what was so incredible, that I feel like so many of us of this age group, so many women, Gen X women, do feel this connection to like reclaiming your own narrative and being able to, I mean, it's something that I feel really strongly about, obviously. Mm-hmm. And to have, you know, look, I was a teen actor, you know, mm-hmm. 20 years ago, I was on television, and to have this sort of mirrored big comedy storyline about, you know, 4 women who, when they were very young, were put together and were told a lot of things about who they were and what they were capable of. And now they're adults and they're like grown women who realize, well, wait, I don't have to be held to that anymore. And they realize that together, which is just what I love, and through supporting one another. So I mean, the show is insane and hilarious and incredible, but then also just the heart of that and the relatability is something that I love so deeply.
I totally agree. Renee, your character is put on, like she's trying to let everyone think that she's, you know, really made it big, when in reality, she's got a big secret. And I think a lot of women try, you know, in real life, they try to put on a front, they put on a face. It's all BS, but they do that. They're like, you know what? I want people to think I have my stuff together.
And what's that about, you know? I mean, if there's anything that we should get at this age, it should be the ability to let that go. And I think the harder it is for them to do, the more relatable they are. And when they succeed at it, when they succeed at reclaiming their voice, as she said, or just understanding that there's still value to who they are, even in an industry that might keep saying no. Mm-hmm. Just that is something that we deserve. Yeah. I mean, we deserve it, like in this country, we deserve it in this world. We deserve it as women. We deserve it as women that are getting older and getting better. So it's an underdog story that has a victorious, you know, song to it that I feel resonates even bigger than like the idea that, you know, of what the show is about.
I can't.
But also, wait, can I just say, like, all of us on this Zoom, I would say, are like in our prime now. You know what I mean? And if you had told me that at age 23, I would have been like, okay, well, you can just take a seat. But I'm so great. Like, you know, I look at the work Paula does, and Renee and Hoda, you and your life, and my beautiful SB, and your, you know, and I just think like, oh, wow, this is where it's at. It's not at 23.
And the audacity to think.
I think women, I grew up as a woman who holds gravity. That's my new word for size. And I really always was living in the potential. Everyone would tell me my potential. You could be this, you could be pretty, you could be this, you could be, and it was always like they were giving you some wisdom, and it was so insulting, but in feeling horrible, but you didn't know, you just we're like, okay. And I feel like women so much are always told, you could, if you did this, you could. And really this whole story and this show and the songs and the everything and the way we take it back from the sorry, men, but that kind of controlled our career and gave us the songs, everything. Now we're like, no, we're going to write our own songs. And it's kind of symbolic. We're going to write our own song. We're going to write our own story, and we're going to be a complete sentence, and we're going to be enough. And we're going to like be really excited about that.
That was such an empowering moment. That moment right there that you're describing, Paula. And I was thinking, Sarah, because you guys were all in the room and he was playing some horrible, crappy demo and everyone's like, and then finally you guys stand up and you say, no, we actually don't like that. And I just wondered, Sarah, like in real life, you've managed a music career through all this stuff. And I feel like, and I don't know if this is right, but I feel like you've always kind of been like, this is me. Take me or leave me. This is me.
I think that is true. And it was not I think I always want to remind people that it was clumsy and like there was so many flaws to that. There were even flaws in the fact that I was so shut down to taking in anybody in a collaborative way. I was so protective of losing myself that I don't even think I opened myself up to people who may have expanded my perspective or augmented my talent in some way. I was so, my dukes were up for such a long time, but hindsight is always 20/20. And I think at that age when I was in my mid 20s when I started my music career, and I had this experience of standing up and being told like, you should sing this song called Just Have Fun. And I'm like, I don't want to. And I like left, and of course I'm crying and I'm like, oh, I'm so misunderstood in the world. But then it makes me write love songs, like the places where we hit those hurdles that clarify something. That's the kind of energy of the universe that I get really excited about, because sometimes you have to know what you don't want before you know what you do want. And I think this show really celebrates that.
Yeah.
What'd you say, Paula?
That's when you find out who you are. When you are so afraid to speak up, and then you speak up, and then you go and cry, and then you're like, why am I crying? That's what I believe. That's what I don't like that. I don't want to do it,
Right.
Well, I am so crazy about this show. You guys, I think it's going to be a crazy hit. I mean, I cannot think of a woman friend of mine who would not be glued to this, but you all, it's a home run, and I can't wait. So I just want to say, this is the perfect combination. Hats off to Tina, and hats off to your brilliant writer on this show, and just hats off to you guys. What a great combo.
Thank you.
Thanks, Hoda.
Thank you,
Love
Hoda.
you. Yes, all the way.